Today on Public Eye News, the Mackinac Bridge will resume construction in the coming weeks. But first, we'll have everything you need to know about tomorrow's opportunity to meet with the city manager of Marquette.
And coming up, I will have your weather forecast, where we'll look into conditions for the next couple days. And later, Dylan Dubé will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Aubrey Huddleston.
And I'm Toby Camilli, and this is Public Eye News. In Chippewa County, a man was arrested by the Michigan State Police Computer Crimes Unit after an investigation revealed he was viewing child sexually abusive material online. Michael Louis Dower of Sault Ste. Marie is facing multiple charges after a search of his home led to digital evidence against him. The charges include aggravated possession of child sexually abusive material and using a computer to commit a crime. Dower was arraigned last Friday with a $50,000 bond and strict conditions. If convicted, he may face up to 10 years in prison. And the United States Coast Guard has begun ice-breaking operations on the Lower St. Mary's Bridge in preparation for the 2025 Great Lakes commercial shipping season. The initial efforts will focus on the lower river south of the Munisquam Lake and the Middle Nebish Channel. The operations will later extend into the southern West Nebish Channel. The Soo locks have been scheduled to open on March 21st. The Coast Guard advises recreational ice users to stay cautious and avoid navigation areas.
Revix Technologies of Houghton has been awarded a $145 million grant from the U.S. Department of Energy's office. In partnership with Eagle Mine LLC, Revix Technologies is launching the REV Nickel Project. The company is committed to sustainably producing nickel concentrate from items such as lithium-ion batteries and metal-bearing waste streams. This project is expected to create 115 new clean tech jobs, support over 300 local construction jobs, and retain over 400 Eagle Mine employees. And the Marquette City Manager, Karen Kovacs, is holding community office hours on Wednesday, March 12th from 10 a.m. to noon in the Heritage Room at the Peter White Public Library. These open office hours are designed for community members to have an informal opportunity to discuss issues, interests, and concerns with the manager. Karen Kovacs has held office since 2021, and her civic duties include enforcing laws, recommending and implementing the annual budget, and advising the commission. And this summer, the Village of Laurium is building a Splashing Through Laurium splash pad at the George Gipp Recreation Area. This redevelopment plan comes after the village was awarded a $20,000 grant from the Keweenaw Community Foundation. This grant further supports Laurium's Get Active initiative, which promotes physical activity for community members regardless of financial or physical ability. The Village of Laurium is still fundraising for this project, with a final design of the splash pad to be announced. And today, President Trump announced additional tariffs on Canada, even as the stock market continues to slide over fears of economic uncertainty and his administration's trade policy. From the White House, Natalie Brand has the latest.
Stocks fell further at the start of trading Tuesday following Monday's sell-off, Wall Street's worst day so far this year.
On-again, off-again tariffs, retaliations, cuts at the government, and it is making people feel concerned enough that we could see the economy slow down.
As the White House downplays concerns over the market, President Trump raised the stakes Tuesday. He announced on social media he's doubling the tariff set to take effect tomorrow on Canadian steel and aluminum coming into the U.S. It will now be 50%. That's in response to Ontario's 25% retaliatory tax on electricity exports to the U.S. U.S. farmers and grocers describe a roller coaster as they brace for tariff impacts. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins acknowledged the concern.
Secretary, what's your message to farmers worried about tariffs, retaliatory tariffs, and the uncertainty?
The uncertainty is real, and the farmers and our ranchers are concerned. It's going to be a little bit bumpy for, maybe a few weeks or a few months, but at the end, his vision, and again, what we're effectuating, is that our American farmers and ranchers, but truly all Americans, will be moving into an era of greater prosperity.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are trying to head off a partial government shutdown at the end of the week. Vice President J.D. Vance headed there this morning ahead of a critical House vote on a stopgap budget measure.
This clean CR contains no poison pill riders, no policy riders there at all, no cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, zero.
But with one GOP hardliner, Kentucky's Thomas Massie, already saying he's a no, the White House confirmed President Trump is making phone calls to potential holdouts. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now don't touch that dial. Aubrey will be right back with your weather after this break.
It's me, Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetnista, and I want to help you get good with money.
Tiffany Aliche is an award-winning teacher of financial education and author of the New York Times best-selling book, Get Good with Money.
I'm going to show you in 10 steps how to reach financial wholeness so you never run out of money. You want to know what those 10 steps are? Yes. I know you do. Join me for Get Good with Money.
Tuesday night at 8 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. I'm Aubrey Huddleston, and this is your weather report. Now, starting off with a look outside, you can see that quite a bit of the snow has melted, which was made very obvious by the amount of puddles I stepped in on the way here. And now, taking a look across the UP, starting in Houghton, it is 23 degrees and sunny, and those sunny skies continue throughout much of the western half of the UP, where in Ironwood it is 28 degrees, Iron Mountain is 34, Menominee is 33. Now taking a look towards the other side of the map, in Escanaba, sunny skies still with a temperature of 28 degrees, same conditions for Manistee, and then the clouds come in for Sault Ste. Marie, where it is 24 degrees, and back in Marquette it is also 24 degrees and partly cloudy. Now taking a closer look into those current conditions, we have winds out of the north at 13 miles per hour and a barometric pressure of 29.98 inches and rising. Now looking into tonight, same cloudy conditions with a low of 23 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 6 miles per hour, and the moon phase is a waxing gibbous. And looking into tomorrow, you can expect partly cloudy skies again with a high of 42 degrees, a low of 28, and winds out of the south at 12 miles per hour. Now looking towards the end of the week, on Thursday, there's a high of 48, a low of 36, and cloudy skies throughout. On Friday, there's a high of 53, a low of 45. And on Saturday, you can expect some rain showers with a high of 53 once again and a low of 27. But that's all for your weather report today. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that weather update, Aubrey. Nice to see some sunny conditions across the UP this afternoon. Now onto your state news. Michigan's Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist II announced his run for governor. Gilchrist plans to focus on affordable housing and mental health care. Gilchrist is a former software engineer who has worked closely with Governor Gretchen Whitmer on her policies and has built many relationships across Michigan during his time as lieutenant governor. He will be joining other big-name Michigan Democrats who have entered their name for the race as well, including Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson and Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson. If Gilchrist wins the Democratic primary, he could face off against Republican Senate Leader Eric Nesbitt or Independent Mike Dugan in the 2026 general election. And the Mackinac Bridge Authority is set to resume a 2-season project on the bridge's North Viaduct and approach truss spans starting on March 22nd if the weather conditions allow them to do so. The work focuses on joint replacement and limited repaving. Additional southbound repaving will occur in a separate project from March 24th to April 26th. The southbound side will be closed while the repairs are made, with one lane open in both directions on the northbound side. From April 28th to May 22nd, the work will shift to the northbound side. Weekend traffic between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. may cause delays, and wide load vehicles will face restrictions. The project is aimed to be complete before Memorial Day weekend. And in Saudi Arabia, high-stakes talks between the U.S. and Ukrainian officials are underway. Ukraine's president hopes the meetings will revive U.S. ties after President Trump and Zelensky's meeting. CBS's Holly Williams has more from Rivne, Ukraine.
Well, these talks are clearly aimed at mending fences and trying to find some common ground for the US and Ukraine as the Trump administration continues to push for a ceasefire deal between Ukraine and Russia. En route to the talks, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the US side is looking for, quote, a strong sense that Ukraine is willing to do difficult things. But remember from Ukraine's perspective that in recent weeks, the US has gone from being its most important and one of its staunchest allies, committing over $100 billion in aid during 3 years of war, to suspending the delivery of military aid, President Trump calling Ukraine's elected president a dictator, and then giving him a very public dressing down at the White House. Ahead of these talks, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine has wanted peace from the very first second of this war. But at the same time, Ukraine does not want to be pressured into a ceasefire deal that rewards Vladimir Putin with territory, Ukrainian territory, and leaves the door open to him invading again, because that has happened before. To stop it happening, Ukraine wants security guarantees, including from the United States, to make Vladimir Putin think twice. Holly Williams, CBS News, Rivne, Ukraine.
And Dylan will be right back with a sports report you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
In the fourth year of Changing Planet, we are focusing on two of the largest river restoration projects ever attempted.
What?
One urban.
The River Seine is undergoing a colossal detox.
One wild and remote.
These dams will be completely gone within a matter of months.
Everyone knows there's hope.
It's big.
These are stories of ambition and action for our changing planet.
Welcome back. I'm Dylan Dubé with your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting on the field, it's Josie Lukowski who wins her second Women's Lacrosse GLIAC Player of the Week award of the season. This award comes after a string of dominant performances from the midfielder, amassing 12 goals and 4 assists for 16 points over 2 games. Lukowski put on a clinic in the match against Missouri Western as she would score 7 goals and 10 total points, setting not only her career high, but a program high as well for most points recorded in a single game. Coming off of a lamentable loss to Maryville, Josie Lukowski looks to lead the Wildcats to recovery as they take on Lewis University at the Superior Dome this Saturday at 12 p.m. Taking it to the pool, NMU's men and women's swim and dive teams will be competing in the NCAA Championship this week. The event began this morning and will go until Saturday, March 15th, as the Wildcats will compete in their respective events starting at 10 a.m. each day of the competition. Tomorrow, Leo Knowles will represent the men in the 50 freestyle prelim and compete in the 200 medley relay final alongside Rocheleau, Dickman, and LeCount. Annika Geyer and Annika Wright will represent the women's side in the 1000 freestyle final tomorrow, with the 200 medley relay team consisting of Carbone, DeKevitt, Strasny, and Burrows competing in the final at 7:30. And finally, looking at the slopes, the NMU Alpine Ski Team will be gearing up for the USCSA National Championship. The championship will be taking place at Mount Bachelor in Bend, Oregon, which began yesterday and lasts until March 15th, with the actual competition beginning today. The women will be competing from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. today and Thursday, and the men will be competing 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Wednesday and Friday. Saturday, at the same time, both the men and women will compete in the slalom to close out the championship week. And that's all I've got for this Public Eye Sports Report. Now saucing it back to Toby and Aubrey at the desk.
Thank you for that delightful sports report, Dylan. So Toby, how about the women's lacrosse team?
They're definitely doing really well this season. Nice to
Yeah.
hear about Lukowski winning that award.
Sure is.
Well, I hear you have another story for us, Aubrey.
I do. I have one more for you. And if you're a fan of live music, you can join NMU's Department of Music for the first choral concert of the winter semester. The show begins this evening at 7:30 p.m. in the Reynolds Recital Hall, and admission is free for everyone.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today at Public Eye News. I'm Toby Camilli.
And I'm Aubrey Huddleston.
And this is Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.